Hey, wake up! A great good morning to you all. Today is the sunshine day, and today I wake up early in the morning to learn, explore, and share a biological treatment process. It is the conversion of organic solids or removal of organic solids known as biological treatment processes or biological activities. Now, in your mind, the question comes immediately, what they remove? The answer is, they remove colloidal or organic dissolved substances which are present in the wastewater. The next question is into your mind, that is the conversion which is made by them. What is the form of conversion? The answer is the organic substances are converted into the gases and that can escape into the atmosphere very easily. And second, biological cell tissues that can be removed by settling, right? The removal of dissolved and suspended carbonaceous BOD and stabilization of organic matter which is found in wastewater is accomplished by using variety of organisms, principally bacteria. The microorganisms are used to oxidize the dissolved and suspended organic matters which are present in the wastewater into simple end products and additional biomass. This is achieved by providing a favorable environment to the microorganisms, right? By providing their food, pH, DO, temperature, etc. Right? The organic matter which are present in the wastewater serves as a food to the microorganisms, which is aerobic microorganisms. The only thing which is provided, that is DO, that is dissolved oxygen, which are provided to that microorganisms and which are representative of that microorganisms or process called aerobic microorganisms, right? The dissolved oxygen which are supplied by naturally or mechanically by agitation, right? Remember that. The anaerobic microorganisms is totally reversed, that is, it can be survived in a non-availability of the oxygen. It can be multiplied by absence of the DO and do the decomposition of that particular microorganisms and the organic matter, and after that it gives a undesirable results like making a foul gases like H2S, CH4, etc. Hence, anaerobic process is not generally used, right? It is used when it is required, like UASB process, sludge digestion process, or septic tank, etc. Hey, good morning to you all. Today we are going to learn a secondary treatment. In this secondary treatment, we are going to learn a biological treatment. Here, there are conventional treatment process which are depends on trickling filter and activated sludge process, right? In this biological treatment, the another type is oxidation ditch, right? And second one is aerated lagoon. The third type is waste stabilization pond. And fourth one is upflow anaerobic sludge blanket system, that is UASB, right? There are four types. What are they? Oxidation ditch, aerated lagoon, waste stabilization pond, upflow anaerobic sludge blanket system, that is UASB. It is called low cost methods, right? That means you understand that whenever the population or quantity are very much less in quantity, that means when you require the project in a low cost methods, then you will provide all these four processes, right? Third type, in biological treatment, emerging technologies processes are, first one, membrane biological reactor, MBR, and second one, moving bed biological reactor, that is MBBR. You know that this table already you learn at the time of practical, that is what? Total solids, which divided into the two types, that is there is a two children's is there, right? Total suspended solids and second one total dissolved solids, right? The total suspended solids having two children's, that is settlable and non-settlable, that is settlable suspended solids and non-settlable suspended solids, right? In settlable suspended solids, it has also two children's, like that is volatile solids and another one fixed solids, right? One is organic, another is inorganic settlable solids. Same thing is in non-settlable suspended solids, that is it is also two children's, that is volatile and fixed, that is organic and inorganic. It is changes that the changes it is only made that organic and inorganic non-settlable is the made one, right? That is settlable suspended solids, non-settlable suspended solids, volatile and fixed, it is the changes is there. Now in total dissolved solids, it is also two children's, that is volatile and fixed, that is organic and inorganic. There is change is dissolved solids, right? In dissolved solids, volatile and fixed organic or inorganic solids are made. That means you understand that total suspended solid, that is settlable, non-settlable, under that settlable, volatile, fixed, also non-settlable, volatile, fixed. There is a change is that organic, inorganic in settlable, and non-settlable there is a organic with non-settlable, and non-settlable under non-settlable fixed solids there is a inorganic non-settlable, right? Now you understand that how the total solids are going on. To understand and to calculate all these solids, why it is important? Because you have to find out or to remove in the secondary treatment and move to the another unit and getting a correct results in a correct format. Hey wait, you don't know about the biological unit processes. So let's begin to learn. In biological treatment or activities, it is defined as removal or conversion of organic solids What is that? Removal or conversion of organic solids. How? They remove colloidal or dissolved biodegradable organic substances in a wastewater. Please remember, they remove colloidal or dissolved biodegradable organic substances in a wastewater. The conversion of organic substances are, that means you have to understand what are the organic substances which will be removed in the next steps. So, organic substances converts into the gases, right? That can escape to atmosphere, right? As biological cell tissues that can be removed by settling. That means you clearly understand that you have to convert that organic substances or matter into the gases and which will be escaped to the atmosphere very easily. And next cell, that is another one is biological cell tissues which will be removed by settling, that is called sludge, right? The removal of dissolved and suspended carbonaceous BOD and stabilization of organic matter into simple products, that is simple end products, and additional biomass and additional biomass. What is that means? That removes the dissolved and all suspended carbonaceous BOD, that is you have to concentrate all kinds of solids and semi-solid material which are present in that particular sewage or sludge, that you have to remove, which are in the form that is dissolved or suspended. That means you know that total solids are divided into two types, that is suspended and another one is dissolved, right? This is achieved by providing favorable environment to microorganisms with food, DO, that is dissolved oxygen, pH, temperature, etc. That means you have to concentrate the microorganisms which are required that particular food to live. The microorganisms to live require dissolved oxygen. The microorganisms which are required a correct pH, and microorganisms require a correct temperature to survive. That means we are concentrating to those microorganisms which are aerobic in process, that is they are depends on dissolved oxygen, and that can be easily we can oxidize or stabilize the particular matter very easily. In this process we have to learn all these things. The organic solids present in wastewater serves as a food for aerobic microorganisms, right? In the biological treatment processes, the DO, that is dissolved oxygen, is supplied by naturally or mechanically by agitation, which is essential for respiration of aerobic organisms, right? That means I already told to you the dissolved oxygen which are very important to the microorganisms to live or survival for them, right? And anaerobic microorganisms can multiply in the absence of DO. That means some microorganisms which are live without oxygen, that is it is called as anaerobic microorganisms, and they can live without dissolved oxygen, that is oxygen is not present, and do the decomposition without oxygen. See the difference between aerobic and anaerobic processes. But end products are undesirable, foul, smelling gases like H2S, CH4, etc. That means as compared to aerobic process, in anaerobic process, there is a foul smelling gases which are related with hydrogen sulfide and CH4, etc. Hence, anaerobic decomposition processes is not generally preferred. Anaerobic treatments adopted specifically in situation like septic tanks, UASB, anaerobic sludge digesters. Understood? Very clearly. Now, in the classification of biological treatment systems are first attached growth system and second suspended growth system. Now, let's move to the understand the classification of biological treatment system. The first type, attached growth system. Here, biomass is attached. The trickling filters, biological towers are the example of this system which adsorbs biomass to rocks and plastics, right? Wastewater sprayed over the top of the rocks and plastics and allowed to trickle down and over the attached biomass, which removes materials from waste through sorption and biodegradation. A related type of attached growth system is the rotating biological contactor. The related type of attached growth system is the rotating biological contactor. When biomass is attached to a series of thin plastic wheels that rotate the biomass in and out of the wastewater, this coating of microorganisms is able to trap and consume BOD and ammonia in a wastewater. Here, microorganisms are responsible for conversion of organic matter are attached to an inert packing material. See, the main role done by microorganisms, right? Packing materials are, which are they? Rock, gravel, sand, and wide range of plastic and other synthetic material, right? What are they? Rock, gravel, sand, and wide range of plastic and other synthetic material. It is operated as aerobic processes and anaerobic processes, and that means both the process. The packing materials can be completely submerged in the liquid or not submerged with airspace above the biofilm liquid layer, right? It is more able to cope with shocks, biological loading, and provide higher removal rates for BOD and suspended solids than suspended growth system. The classification of biological treatment system. Second, suspended growth systems. Microorganisms are responsible for treatment and are maintained in liquid suspension by appropriate mixing methods. Now, in suspended growth system, that is second method is there is a number of biological processes. The most common method is ASP, that is activated sludge process, in which microbes are also known as biomass are allowed to feed organic matter in a waste matter or wastewater, and it remains in suspension. Please try to understand. It is a very important process, that is activated sludge process, which is giving a very correct results and fastly results as compared to low cost methods. So we have to concentrate this method very neatly. Makeup and dynamics microbial population. That means in ASP we are concentrating makeup and dynamics of microbial population, and which gives you a function of how ASP is operated. That means ASP depends on the makeup process and dynamics of microbial population is there. See the biological treatment chart or this tree diagram. Here biological treatment process, it depends on aerobic and anaerobic process. In aerobic process there is a depends on DO presence for the microbes respiration, that is respiration. It depends on dissolved oxygen, which is generally preferred this method always. And in anaerobic process there is a dissolved oxygen, that is DO is not present, right? See, in aerobic there is a natural oxygen is there O2 and artificial O2, that is mechanical means. The diagrams of oxygen, how it looks, and artificially we can provide the human, same thing, there is a microorganisms we can provide, right? Like machineries is there, the oxygen how to provide through the pipeline. So in these both the cases, the bacteria or protozoa consumes biodegradable soluble organic contaminants, right? And which is bind much of less soluble fractions into flock particles. That means the flock particles which are very less and which is settled at the bottom of the tank. See, anaerobic. In the oxidation of organic substances achieved by organisms, right? and they take oxygen requirement from complex organic substances such as sulfates, SO4, phosphate, PO4, etc. That means in anaerobic process, SO4 and PO4 is very much likely to be available in the process of anaerobic process. And there is a which do not need dissolved oxygen, that is which is obviously you know that there is no presence of oxygen. That's why the oxidation of organic substances achieved by the process or organisms which is non-availability of DO. The end products of anaerobic process are, what are they? CO2, that is carbon dioxide, H2O, that is water, cell tissues, right? It can be, we can use as a energy, and this energy we can change into the electrical energy. We can change it in the sewage treatment plant, and can also produce methane CH4, which is explosive, and also there is ammonia NH3 and hydrogen sulfide H2S, which are very toxic in nature. That means you understand that methane CH4, it is explosive in nature, and ammonia NH3 and hydrogen sulfide H2S, which are toxic in nature. That process you have to concentrate how to convert that products, and we can produce a energy in a correct format. In end products of aerobic processes are same CO2, H2O, cell tissues. These are the three common things. And another one is if completely oxidized organic matter transformed into non-hazardous products, right? This is the aerobic processes. That means in biological treatment, aerobic and anaerobic, both the process, both in series, we can provide a better and more economical treatments. That you understand that. Now, we have to concentrate the activated sludge processes, that is ASP. Now, in this aerobic biological wastewater treatment, that is activated sludge processes, we are concentrating to the microorganisms we can use in this process, or we are using this process, that is to oxidize, that is bacteria, fungi and protozoa, right? And second one, why and how the microorganisms, it is very important because the microorganism is the key role to oxidize that organic matter to decompose. That means to speed up the decomposition processes of organic matter, it requiring the oxygen for the treatment. Yes, that's why the quality of sludge is good, because the BOD removal processes, that is 70% to 99.9% is good, and it requires the less land area, right? Why we are concentrating ASP? It requires less land area. BOD removal, that is 70% to 99.9%, and that microorganisms, that is bacteria, fungi, protozoa, which is speed up the decomposition processes of organic matter, which is required the oxygen, that is DO, for the treatment, and that's why the quality of sludge is good by using these processes. So microorganisms thoroughly mixed with organics and stimulates their growth, and waste materials are removed, right? Promotes biological flux and removes organic material. A portion of settled sludge is returned to aeration tank. Settled sludge is maintained optimum concentration of acclimated microorganisms in the aeration tank to break down to nitrate and nitrate, ultimately nitrogen gas. Let's take a review. The wastewater first treated with primarily preliminary treatment units, right, like screen chamber, grit chamber, oil and grease removal tank, that you already learned in my last lectures. Here we are the floating solids, bigger size material, settleable solids, and about 40% of BOD removed in these all processes which are already learned, right? Then the wastewater treated biologically. That means you have to understand that after screen chamber, grit chamber, oil and grease removal tank, and you got the results of the BOD which are removing almost 40% of the BOD removal, and after that you understand that you need a biological processes, right? The objectives of biological treatments of wastewaters are coagulate and remove non-settleable colloidal solids and stabilize organic matter with the help of mixed population of microorganisms. Agitated wastewater is known as mixed liquid. Please remember, these words are already used in your second practical, that is sludge volume index. The agitated wastewater is known as mixed liquid, MLSS, right? You know that. The process description are activated sludge process, which is required first, that is rapid adsorption of waste which substrates by sludge, right? And second process, that is progressive oxidation of adsorbed organisms or organics, that and synthesis of biomass, right? Please again, process description of activated sludge process, it has two types or two steps: rapid adsorption of waste which substrates by sludge, and second, progressive oxidation of adsorbed organics and synthesis of biomass, right? And third, separation of biomass and recirculation. And third, separation of biomass and recirculation. Now we have to understand the flow diagram of ETP with conventional activated sludge processes, that is raw sewage, screening, grit chamber, third primary settling tank, fourth aeration tank, fifth secondary settling tank, and after that in secondary settling tank, if it is need, there is a recirculation of activated sludge, that is, it is returned to the aeration tank again, and this settles. If the secondary settling tank, it is in good format, the settled sludge or excess sludge which will be removed, and after that secondary settling tank, it is treated to the treated sewage, right? See another diagram. Primary clarifier, that is, your influent is coming to the first primary clarifier, and then it moves to the aeration tank. After aeration tank, see, after aeration tank, the secondary clarifier, the sewage is moved to the secondary clarifier. But if required, it is moved to the activated sludge again and moved to the aeration tank. That is called extra recirculated or return sludge, right? And if the return sludge is moved to the aeration tank, and afterwards the sludge digestion tanks, the removed sludge is there, that is extra recirculated sludge is placed into the sludge digestion tank, right? And if the secondary clarifiers is satisfied their process, it is moved to the as a effluent, and after sludge digestion tank, it is moved to the sludge drying beds. That means it is the last process of flow diagram of activated sludge processes, right? That means there are very few steps you have to concentrate to do the activated sludge process. In the reactor, that is aeration tank, microorganisms convert soluble organic matter into energy, that is new cell mass and CO2. That is all I already told to you, that is cell mass, it is called energy. That is new cell mass and CO2 that you have to convert by using microorganisms. The aerobic environment is maintained in the reactor by using diffused or mechanical aerators. The agitated wastewater known as mixed liquor, which is in suspension for some period of time, the mixture of new cell mass and old cell mass transferred to secondary settling tank, where cells, that is biomass, is separated from treated effluent. The biomass or sludge recirculated to maintain desired concentration of microorganisms in the reactor, and remaining sludge either wasted or stabilized. To calculate the quantity of air required to remove 300 ppm of BOD from 8 million liters of sewage per day, the solution is 8 million liters of sewage, that is 8 quantity, 300 ppm of air, that is already given to you in the problem, that is 300, and 30, that is 30 meter cube usual rate which is adopted of air per million liters for each ppm, right? That you have to understand, or that you have to keep in your mind, that is 30 value is coming from usual rate of air which is used for per million liters of each ppm, right? So therefore 8 multiplied by 300 multiplied by 30, the answer will be 72,000 meter cube per day is equal to 50 meter cube per minute. That means you require the 50 meter cube per minute for 300 ppm of BOD and 8 million liters of sewage per day. You require the 50 meter cube per minute air, right? Quantity of air. So capacity of aeration tank, the formula is capital C is equal to V1 plus V2 under bracket complete, multiply by capital T divided by 24, where V1 is equal to volume of flows of sewage in meter cube per day, V2 is equal to volume of returned sludge in meter cube per day, capital C is equal to capacity of aeration tank, and capital T is equal to aeration period, that is in hours. Right? The food microorganisms ratio, that is F by M ratio, you know that it is very famous and you already learned in the sludge volume index, right? So F is equal to capital Q multiplied by X0, where F is equal to food, capital Q is equal to rate of flow of sewage in meter cube per day, that is discharge, and X0 is equal to influent BOD in mg per liter, right? That means the quantity which are entered in the tank, how much is food required, that is F, and how much is influent BOD in mg per liter, that you have to three parameters you have to concentrate. Capital M is equal to MLSS, that is mixed liquid suspended solids, right? Multiply by volume of aeration tank. Therefore, F by M ratio is equal to Q multiplied by X0 divided by MLSS multiplied by volume of aeration tank. That you have to concentrate. Q multiplied by X0 divided by MLSS into volume of aeration tank. This gives you a food mass ratio, that is food microorganisms ratio. Solid retention time, SRT. This is also called as mean cell residence time, that is MCRT, or sludge age. It indicates the time period for which the solids are in the system. See, it indicates the time period for which the solids are in the system. The sludge age or SRT is equal to total weight of solids in biological system, which is called 1, right? The total weight of solids living in the system per day, that is 1 plus 2, right? The solids are lost from the reactor through treated effluent and through sludge wasting SST, that is secondary settling tank. The total weight of solids in the reactor is equal to volume of reactor into MLSS, that is mass of solids with removed with wasted sludge per day. Again, the total weight of solids in the reactor is equal to volume of reactor into MLSS, right? The mass of solids removed with wasted sludge per day is equal to capital Q suffix W multiplied by capital X suffix W, right? You already know that is your capital Q is rate of flow of sewage in meter cube per day and X0 is equal to influent. So you have to concentrate the discharge and influence, right? Second, mass of solids removed with the effluent per day. Now you are concentrating to the effluent, that is therefore is equal to capital Q minus QW multiplied by XE, that is effluent discharge. E is called as effluent, right? Total weight of solids leaving the system per day, right? Total weight of solids leaving the system per day is equal to 1 plus 2, that is this one. The mass of solids removed wasted sludge per day and mass of solids removed with the effluent per day. These two formulas are addition. Here the third step is QW into XW plus Q minus QW into XC. This is your third step, that is total weight of solids leaving the system per day. After getting this answer, the sludge age or SRT, what is the SRT definition is there? It indicates the time period for which the solids are in the system. It indicates the time period for which the solids are in the system. That's why the sludge age or SRT or MCRT theta C is equal to V, that is volume, into XT divided by this total weight of solid living in the system per day, that is 1 plus 2 QW into XW plus under bracket Q minus QW bracket complete multiplied by capital X suffix E, that is effluent, and it gives you a sludge age or SRT or MCRT, right? Please keep in your mind for the examination point of view. The sludge age or SRT or MCRT theta C, the V is equal to volume of reactor, XT is equal to mLSS in mg per liter, QW is equal to volume of wasted sludge, that is per day, XW is equal to solid concentration in waste, that is wasted sludge, that is mg per liter, capital Q wastewater flow per day, and X effluent solids concentration mg per liter. All these things you already know. The design parameters are: first, organic loading rate, and their design value is 0.3 to 0.5 kg per day, right? Second design parameter is mLSS, that is second, 1500 to 3000 mg per liter. Third, mLVSS, the third parameter of design, mLVSS, the mixed liquid volatile suspended solids. The design value is 0.8 multiplied by mLSS. Fourth design parameter is F by M ratio. Therefore, the design value is 0.3 to 0.4. Fourth design parameter is hydraulic retention time, HRT. The design value will be 4 to 6 hours. Sixth design parameter, that is SRT or MCRT or theta C. The design value is 5 to 8 days. Seventh design parameter is oxygen requirement. The design values of oxygen requirement is 0.8 to 1 kg per kg of BOD required. eighth design parameter is recirculation ratio, that is QR by Q. The design value is 0.25 to 0.5. Ninth design parameter is BOD removal efficiency. The design value is 85 to 92%. Air required having a design value is 40 to 100 meter cube per kg of BOD for 5 days BOD, right? The 11th design parameter is excess sludge. The design values is 0.55 to 0.6 kg per kg BOD removed. The surface loading for SST, the design value is 30 meter cube per meter square per day. And last, the detention time for SST, the design values is 2 hours. All these parameters you have to keep in mind with their design values to design their particular secondary treatment ASP. Now, before going to design, first you have to understand again the sludge volume index. To understand the quality of sludge produced in the aeration tank, the degree of treatment achieved in an aeration process depends directly on settleability of activated sludge in the secondary settling tank. A biological floc that agglomerates and settles by gravity leaves a clear supertenant for discharge. Conversely, poorly fluctuated particles or buoyant filamentous growths that do not separate by gravity contribute to BOD and suspended solids in the treated effluent, which gives you a BOO. That means it do not separate by the gravity. That's why you have to give a BOO and to the suspended solids, that it is requirement in the treated effluent, right? In the excessive carry over the floc resulting in inefficient operation is referred to as sludge bulking. Bhaga. Please listen carefully. Excessive carryover of floc resulting in inefficient operation is referred to as sludge bulking. The sludge volume index SVI is defined as the volume occupied in the ml by 1 gram of dried solids in mixed liquor after settling for 30 minutes. This can be determined in the laboratory. For this, the sample is collected from outlet of the aeration tank of ASP. The collected 1 liter sample is poured in Imhoff cone and allowed to settle for 30 minutes. The settled volume of sludge is recorded. Then the sample is remixed and is further tested for mixed liquor suspended solids concentration. The SVI is determined by the equation SVI is equal to volume of settled sludge in ml divided by MLSS concentration in mg per liter multiplied by 1000. The usual adopted range of SVI between 50 to 150 ml per gram, and such a value indicates good settling sludge. The SVI values of 100, 150 are considered satisfactory. That is, SVI value is in between 100 to 150 are considered satisfactory in plants operating with MLSS of 1000 to 3500 mg per liter. The sludge bulking is due to first, inadequate air supply, second, low pH, third, septicity, and fourth, growth of filamentous organisms. The sludge bulking is controlled by eliminating the above causes. That is, following causes you have to concentrate how to remove that sludge bulking. That means you have to range between 100 to 150, and it should not be greater than 200 values. In the laboratory, that you have to understand how the sludge bulking is removed. Here, chlorine or hydrogen peroxide can be applied to wastewater or return sludge for control filamentous growth. The limited dissolved oxygen has been noted more frequent than any other cause of bulking. The minimum DO should be 2 mg per liter. The F/m ratio should be checked to make sure that it is within the range, right? Already you learned the design parameters. The F/m ratio you should keep it in your mind. The operational parameters of ASP. The first column is SVI in ml per gram. The value will be 150 to 200, and the process called high rate. If the value is in between 50 to 150, it is called conventional process. And if the SVI value is in between 25 to 50, it is called extended aeration, right? When the value of SVI is in between 150 to 200, right? At that time, MLSS is in between 50 to 100. When the value of SVI is in between 50 to 150, the MLSS value will be 2000 to 3000. And if the value of SVI is in between 25 to 50, the MLSS value will be 4000 to 6000. At the same time, same process, the F/m ratio, that is days d raised to minus 1, that is day raised to minus 1, that is 0.5 to 1, then 0.2 to 0.5, and 0.05 to 0.2. The aeration time for 150 to 200 in hours, that is 3 to 4 hours. If the value of SVI is 50 to 150, the aeration time is in between 6 to 10 hours. If the value of SVI is in between 25 to 50, it will be increased to 24 hours to 36 hours. That means it is more, and it is take a large time. The average sludge age for 150 to 200 is 5. 50 to 150, the average sludge age is 10, and 25 to 50 for that 25. The BOD removal efficiency percentage for 150 to 200 SVI, it is in between 60 to 75. When the SVI value 50 to 150, the BOD removal efficiency is 80 to 90%. and SVI value 25 to 50, the BOD removal efficiency is 90 to 98%. That means at that time 90 to 98% of removal efficiency, it is called quality of sludge is excellent. That means you are concentrating to the BOD removal efficiency, which gives you a quality of sludge excellent. When the BOD removal efficiency is 80 to 90%, you call that quality of sludge is good. When the BOD removal efficiency is in between 60 to 75%, you call the quality of sludge is very poor. That is poor. This is the operational parameters of ASP, activated sludge process. Right? The sludge removal or recycled return sludge, that is sludge recirculation ratio. The sludge recycle or rate of return sludge is presented by QR divided by Q is equal to XT divided by XR minus XT, where Q is equal to sludge recirculation rate in meter cube per day. XT is equal to MLSS in the aeration tank in mg per liter. XR is equal to MLSS in the returned or wasted sludge in mg per liter. That means you have to first understand the characters of the formula. Now, XR is equal to 10 raised to 6 divided by SVI. Right? QR divided by Q is equal to XT divided by XR minus XT is equal to XT divided by, put the value of XR, that is 10 raised to 6 divided by SVI minus XT. The value of return sludge ratio for conventional sludge plant varies between 0.25 to 0.50. That you have to understand. The characteristics and design parameters of different activated sludge process. The process type, first, conventional. The F/R ratio, the HRT in hours, the volumetric loading rate in kg BOD per meter cube, SRT in days, and last column is kg, that is O2, that is oxygen, divided by kg per BOD. And all these parameters and characteristics you have to keep in mind when you are going for the design. The problems and remedies in ASP. What are the problems in activated sludge process which are found, and how to remove or tackle by providing the solution, that is remedies, are in front of you. The problem 1. The sludge floating at the surface of SST. It is caused due to denitrification in SST, resulting in nitrogen gas bubbles buying up sludge, right? And second cause, more growth of filamentous organisms. So remedy or solution is for that problem is increasing RPM of scraper, sludge wasting, return sludge and DO, and apply chlorine application, right? Second problem, low return sludge concentration. It is caused due to filamentous microorganisms growth and high return sludge rate. For that, the remedy is, first one, add chlorine and increase pH and DO, that is dissolve oxygen, and reduce return sludge rate. Third problem, foam. It is caused due to detergent, obviously, and remedy is that sprinkle the water on foam. Fourth, dead spots in aeration tank. It is caused due to less aeration and less DO, and second cause is air diffusers plugged. The remedies to provide for that problem is increase the rate of aeration, and second, clean or replace air diffusers. Right? Fifth problem in ASP, small flock particles in settled effluent which is caused due to more disturbance in aeration tank, and second cause, system devoid of oxygen. To provide the solution for this problem, the remedies is reduce aeration and increase sludge washing. And second remedy is increase the aeration rate. That means you have to concentrate all these problems and remedies neatly, right? And give the solution very correctly. The ASP advantages. The activated sludge process advantage are no problem of odors, no fly nuisance, removal of SS and BOD around 90% each, non-putrescible effluent, relatively low cost of installation, area required is small as compared to other conventional methods. These are the some advantages which are found in always in practicing. The ASP disadvantages are: first, no variations in quality of influent is allowed. Second, operation and maintenance cost is high. Skilled supervision is required. And fourth, large quantity of sludge is produced. Right?